Ladies and gentlemen, that's Finesses. It's the trash bag. It's him. He's back. The comeback kid, as some would call him. Take a look at that. It's your Super Bowl champions, barring any kind of zebra activity. We are back. It's the trash bag. It's going through the norms today. I'm going to try to keep my cool after another late night in the trash bags camp. I was able to come back and lobotomize Calder at the hands of one Mr. Lamar Jackson and James Conner. I appreciate their dedication to my camp and everything that the rest of my team did to allow me to get to 4-3. You know, the trash bag back. Started out 0-2. I'm 4-1 since. We're back. You know, trash bag. Hopefully, the camp we're good. Gonna go over a few things, the norms today, if you will. But yeah, we had a good week. Off the top, I think myself, Gary, Cheese, Clay, and Galt won. I think off the top. The playing field's a little norm outside of we got a couple outliers at the bottom. I think we know who we are. My deepest sympathies to your camps. But a couple things. I got 5 storylines. Let's jump into them. Injuries hold no grudges in real life and in fantasy. We saw many injuries today. We saw arguably my best player, one of my best players, Jaden Daniels, go down. He got 5 points. He was projected to get 25 against the lowly Panthers. He was actually apparently fine, but since they were playing the Panthers, why bring him back in? So the Panthers' ineptitude paved the way for Calder Spoon to shine in all of its glory, and then boom. Full circle moment. TGK down for the count. He gave me a 10 spot on my dome, no diddy, before his hamstring left the chat. It's a bit of a coaching master class by Todd Bowles. He probably shouldn't even have played, honestly. It would have been better had he just said, "Hey, you're not playing. We're going to play the long game." Pause and just sit him. And then have, it's for fantasy managers, for football, real football, for the fans, just sit him until next week, right? And then, don't risk his health. He's a little bit older too. Don't put him out there and let people know, like, hey, he's not going to be out there. And then Jalen McMillan would have been out there, Sterling Shepard, Trey Tucker, all those guys would have been out there to be able to contribute, and it would have been fine. Boom. Next, hammy. Boom. You ever smoked a chicken leg and pulled it out and the meat just falls off the bone? That's what happened to his legs. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. He's cooked. Todd Bowles have already said out till after the bye, week 11 bye. So it's it's probably an IR stint, to be honest with you. But it's just ineptitude coaching. Inept coaching. I'm gonna touch on that later. Connor Brady on touching on things. But you got to have a next man up mentality. You do. Call no Jenny McCarthy on having a next man up mentality. You have to have guys in place, again, no Jenny McCarthy, ready to take care of business. And Todd Bowles not lost but one top 12 receiver, but lost 2 top 12 receivers. So nice work, Todd Bowles, coaching masterclass. And that jumps me into my next storyline. Todd Bowles is an idiot. He's never done anything that makes me say, oh, wow, he's intelligent, right? So he's just not a good coach. The game is out of reach, the game's out of reach. And I'm not sure what it is to even have those guys in the game, especially Godwin at the end, down 10. I'm not even sure why you have him in the game. I'm not sure if it's like a pride thing or what. I'll know San Francisco on it being a pride thing. Not sure what's going on there, but that's that. Storyline number 3. Justin Fields should probably be considered picking up a shift at McDonald's. All know Donald Trump. Russell Wilson, I don't think anybody's on the Glaze train of Russell Wilson yet. I do think he's a better quarterback for fantasy, probably. Not for fantasy, for real life, probably. Justin Fields is probably going to be better for fantasy, legs or whatever. But real life, he can he's much more accurate. He's probably going to throw, he's going to throw more, might throw more picks, will probably throw more touchdowns, will throw for more yards. But, as far as like real life football, you probably have a better chance with Russell Wilson. And that was, in my opinion, the best game the Steelers have played all season. They actually look like a competent football team. So, we'll see what happens. Again, I don't think they've had a tough schedule yet. The Jets really aren't that good. Very evidently, they aren't that good. But they still hung up a 30-piece nugget on them. But so that's whatever. But next, and the storyline number. Let's see here. I don't even know where I am. I really just can't get over Todd Bowles. Like, it kind of like aggravated me. Like, I'm a TGK. I'm the owner of the Glaze Club. Open 24/7, hot and ready. But I don't know why. I sort of get not putting him out. I kind of do. Not really. I personally would have left him out. But Godwin, you're down 10 with no time with a minute left, but no timeouts. I don't know why you don't pull him out of the game. Call no Alex on having no idea when to pull out. Storyline number 5. It's not over till it's over. Storyline number 5. Anti and spoons can go a long way. We've seen crazier things happen, right? Look at number 1 in our leaderboard. Gary. Not even talking about his points. He still has a middle of the pack points for winning the league, which is insane. But his team's kind of coming around, now a little bit. Gary's team's actually somewhat formidable for some reason. But now it's just the fact that it's Gary. In principle, Gary is doing well. It's like the Cleveland Browns doing good. It's like, this is odd, Moving on. A typical session that we all love. Uno momento, por favor. Does anyone have eyes on Tank Dell, Devontae Smith, and Cortland Sutton? They combined for .3! Total points this week, 0.3. Lindsay Lohan has blown higher breathalyzer scores than that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Insane, absolutely asinine stuff there. I actually, before I started recording this podcast, I offered Scoggins something for Smith. I might have to recant just upon thinking about what I offered. I offered Bigsby and Juju for Devonta Smith. That's kind of strong, honestly. I might have to pull out. No diddy. But a couple more members of our Amber Alert session: C.J. Stroud, Kirk Cousins, and Debo. Right, my man has more ounces of fluid in his lungs than he did fantasy points. So it's a really tough week for some of these players. Hi, man, Gary. I can't believe it. I think that's 2 weeks in a row. It's really kind of, I always like to have some kind of stat to fall back on to support my arguments as to why someone's better than me. And Gary getting high, man, 2 weeks in a row really is kind of getting in the way of that, and that bothers me. So I would really like for him to start being a little worse. That way, if he does continue winning, I can at least fall back on the fact that he's getting fed, right? It's the Andrew postulate. You guys will learn one day. Skeet, I don't know what to say, but I know what to play. I'm so sorry, Skeet, at the request of your own camp. Lowrider by War. Skeet got low, man, he got real low. He got low, man, he got real low. Ski got real low, he did. He He got real low. Skeet got low, yes he did. He got real low. Skeet got low, he did. Skeet got low, he did. Got low. Ow! Yes, sir. Skeet, Low Man of the Week. Thank you for your contribution to the podcast and what you would have liked to be played. If Cheese ever gets anti enough to actually get Low Man, I guess I'll just have to go back to Flow Rider, because getting a recommendation from him seems just, doesn't seem like a feasible opportunity. So I've got 4 crazy facts for you. This section is going to be crazy facts / stats, right? First one's going to be a stat. Lamar is 23-1 against the NFC. No, 24-1 actually. You might ask. You might ask, oh, he's 24-1. That's really impressive. But, just out of curiosity, who's the one? Right? Who's the one? Who's the one? Who's the one that he lost to? You'll never guess. D-Money. DJ. Daniel Jones. We lost to Daniel Jones. We lost like 2 years ago to Daniel Jones. I had actually took the girls, my daughter and wife apple picking. No white person. and I'm like, I don't have to watch this game. We're playing Daniel Jones. Well, brother, we took a dummy L. It was insane. I looked at the score. I said, this has got to be a joke. We lost to Daniel Jones. So, anyway, 24-1 with the one loss to Daniel Jones. It's honestly more funny than anything. But yeah, moving on. The next one, this is going to be a crazy fact. The healthiest San Francisco wide receiver got shot 2 inches from his heart 1.5 months ago. So I don't know what to even say about that team. You literally have a guy who almost died as your healthiest wide receiver. So let's see what else. And then another funny / crazy fact: how you get in trouble on your day off? Jameson Williams, my man, has a day off, kicked back, eating sushi or playing video games. No Kyler Murray. He gets a text saying, "Hey buddy, lay off the PEDs." No Michael Phelps, and the next thing you know, he's suspended for the next 2 games. So comical to say the least. And finally, my last crazy fact of the day: Watson, before he went out, he had 1 more incompletion than ruptured Achilles tendons. He was 15 of 17. That's only 2 incomplete passes, but he had 1 incomplete Achilles. Couldn't have happened to a more humble man. Just a good stand-up person. Well, he ain't gonna be standing up much, but moving on. 9/11 level postal Tank Bigsby, L Freaky, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams. And this next one's gonna really hurt, but I'm a man of the people, and I will leave no stone unturned, and I will admit fault. I will admit fault if I'm wrong, right? What kind of host would I be if I didn't? I'm not enough of no Democrat here. I'm a misogynist. I'm not misogynistic enough not to admit fault. Call no Andrew Tate on being too misogynistic to admit fault. Joe Mixon! What's happening? What's happening? Joe Mixon, he is risen from the dead. He, I guess, finally getting behind a competent offensive line, and a competent offense, and, I guess that's all it took for him. You could say that for a lot of people. Look at Derrick Henry, right? But he's a Hall of Famer, but that's another conversation. But look at him. You know what I'm saying? He's balling. He had Buddy and I hip dropped him. Had Buddy and I hip drop tackled him. We're talking like leading rusher in the NFL type conversation. I think that's Derrick Henry right now. Derrick Henry's cooking, I tell you. But that's the kind of pace we're talking about here. And at least if we're not talking about that, definitely look at his points per game. Dude's cooking. What can I say? Trash bag was wrong. I wasn't wrong about Brandon Ayuk, but trash bag was wrong about Joe Mixon, and I'm a man enough to admit that. All right, this is called the Kamala voter section. It's basically newly unemployed individuals. Travis Etienne, Justin Fields, and Zach Moss. Those guys will be unemployed very soon and probably get $1,600 Visa cards from our government off my tax dollars. So, man, we're at 15 minutes and I still got to go through a few things. All right, boom. Most pathetic teams, the Panthers. You know, they sort of own this segment. What can I say? Their ineptitude is sort of hard to believe just how bad they are. Call no 9/11 cover-up story on being hard to believe. It's just incredible how bad these people are. And like earlier, Andy Dalton got into a car accident. It's like, you can't do anything right. Can you breathe correctly? Like, you know, are you like, you know, it's just pathetic. The Giants. Malik Neighbors, you know, he's an incredible talent. I don't think anybody's going to say that, but I think it's a shame that his ceiling might be capped. I think we're starting to see that. I think we're starting to see that his ceiling can be capped. Not saying it will be, it can be with the likes of Daniel Jones at the helm. You know, it's a shame. I don't think he's in the right spot personally. Call no Chris Godwin's ankle on not being in the right spot. I just don't think he's in the right spot, and it's a shame because he's one of the most top 5 talent in the NFL. I'll die on that hill. He was really, really, really good in LSU. He was so good he made Brian Thomas look like a scrub. You know. So there's a wreck over here. This person won't let me over, so I guess I'll just run over this cop. But yeah, anyway, the Jets, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? They make all these moves and they put out the same product. What do you think's going to happen, right? You do all these things and then you continue to let Aaron Rodgers, whom I'm not a happy camper with right now, you let him do all these things and then boom, rinse, repeat, same product. No Apple product on being rinse and repeat and putting out the same product. So they're kind of annoying me. Next, the Chargers, 17-15. Are you kidding me? To the Cardinals? Stop it. I don't want to hear it. Give the ball to J.K. Dobbins. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and all the stats were there. You know, I think Herbie had like a 350 yards, right? So at some point you have to question the play calling. You know, like bad decision makings. You know, call no blue voters on making bad decisions. I just don't understand. I don't. The Colts, I know they won. I do. But they are not able to put together legitimate points with Anthony Richardson. And I drafted Anthony Richardson. It just didn't work out, right? You know, whatever. It didn't work out. And now you got Joe Flacco coming in the rear, no diddy, about, you know, he's putting up actual points. I'm just not sure why he's not in the game, you know? Call no Arthur Smith on not putting assets in the game at proper times. Real quick, the power rankings. We're going to bust through these real quick, and then we're going to do real quick review, looking into next week, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Number 1, I can't believe it, Saint Spoon Gary. I'm not even going to lie. There are, I think, 2 or 3 switches from the actual standings. And if you don't like what I'm about to do, go ahead and reach out to my production manager. Okay, he's off for the week, no cheese, and he'll probably just send a very crude automatic response back. Galt, Greenville Hospital System, coming in at number 2, and this is where it's going to get tricky. Alex and I have the same record. I'm 6 points behind him. Right, his team's kind of doing this, my team's kind of doing this. I have no choice. I have no choice but to do this. Some call him the comeback kid. Some call him wide receiver U. I like to call me the late night bandit. Sunday and Monday nights, I just like to come in there and snatch your soul. You have fun all day, Sunday and you know, all day Sunday. My team gets lobotomized, gets hurt, you're having a good old time. And then at the end, I like a thief in the night. I come in there and snatch your dreams away at night. Coming in at number 3, the trash bag. Rounding out the top 4 is Alex, Gary's punching bag. Coming in at number 5, going to flip the script here. No Chaz Bono. Evan, the free-falling fairy. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Cheese. I'm not going to give him a name until he can maintain an adequate line of communication. Coming in at number 7, the anti-Andrew trader, going to be Clay. He'll trade with anybody unless it's me. He will get finessed by anybody. He literally won't finesse me unless it's somebody else. He's just not interested in trading, so whatever. Coming in at number 7, Clay. Coming in at number 8, the injury bug himself, Skeet. And rounding out the bottom 2, the champion of the consummation bracket, Calder. Calder's team, it's decent, there's holes, there's weaknesses, but I don't see a situation where he how does he not do decent in the consummation bracket, the constellation bracket, the consolation bracket? How does he not do good in that? And rounding out the bottom, the horseman of horror, carrying the weight of his ineptitude firmly in the spot all season, Zach Spockins, we love you. We are sorry for your loss. And then finally, we're going to go through going into next week, and pop the match of the week. And then we're all done. 21 minutes. Can't believe it. Cheese and Rice and myself, it's going to be 4-3, 4-3. We'll come back to that. That could be match of the week. We'll see. Nope, that's not going to be match of the week. Galt and Alex will be match of the week per the records of those two owners. The Dumpster Divers, aka Evan and Calder, will be playing. That'll be fun. Clay and Gary, so not much cordiality in that. Not going to be savage. And then Scoggins and Skeet. So it kind of should be some cordial matches. I can't talk junk to Cheese because he's not going to respond. Scoggins and Skeet they have a cordial relationship, one would assume. Gary and Clay, one doesn't respond as much, and the other's pretty cordial unless it comes to declining my offers, where he's very, very savage. And Evan and Calder, if both are in funny, savage moods, that could be good. And then Galt and Alex, two people that have utmost respect for one another, rounding out the match of the week. But that's about all I got, boys. That's it. But always, I appreciate everything you guys have done, and we'll jump into it. Next week. I think we got the Rams and the Vikings. That's what I'm talking about. Decent thing. We got Cooper Kupp, Puka possibly coming back. What are you gonna do? We got a good Thursday night, boys. Trash bag outie.